When 11-year-old Amelia Earhart saw her first aeroplane at the Iowa State Fair, she was less than interested, describing it as a thing of rusty wire and wood. She was in her early 20s when a World War I ace in a Toronto flying exhibition flew his plane directly at her and a friend in an attempt to scare them. Earhart stood her ground and later credited the moment with awakening her passion for flying. "I did not understand it at the time," she said, "but I believe that little red airplane said something to me as it swished by." 2 years later, Earhart took her first flight and decided to become a pilot. To pay for flying lessons, she drove a truck and worked at the local telephone company. She'd soon bought her own aeroplane, and in 1923 became the 16th woman in America to be granted a pilot's license. Earhart became well known as a pilot, but had to sell her yellow biplane when she suffered financial problems. But her aviation career got back on track in 1928, when she was selected to be the first woman to fly across the Atlantic, albeit as a passenger, because she did not have instrument training. While in the United Kingdom, Earhart bought a new plane, which she shipped back to the States. She was now a full-fledged celebrity, dubbed the Queen of the Air and Lady Lindy, because of her resemblance to aviator Charles Lindbergh. Crowds cheered her in ticker-tape parades. She visited the White House, and she earned thousands of dollars from product endorsements. Soon after returning from the UK, Earhart became the first woman to fly solo across the North American continent and back. She also took part in competitive flying and was an active campaigner for female pilots, endorsing separate aviation records for women. Marriage to publisher George Putnam in 1931 didn't slow her down, and the following year Earhart became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. She landed in Ireland 14 hours and 56 minutes after leaving Newfoundland. In 1935, she entered the record books as the first person to fly solo across the Pacific, from Honolulu to mainland America. The 2,408-mile flight took 18 hours. Earhart was at the height of her popularity when she set out on her final flight in 1937, a round-the-world 29,000-mile epic flight, accompanied by navigator Fred Noonan. In a custom-built Lockheed Electra, Earhart and Noonan traveled 22,000 miles across 4 continents. But on the 2nd of July, the aircraft mysteriously disappeared, and the wreckage has never been found, sparking numerous conspiracy theories. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has received many reports, including claims that Earhart and Noonan were captured by the Japanese and later executed. However, the most credible explanation is that Earhart and Noonan were forced to ditch their aircraft into the sea near Gardner Island. A woman's skeleton was discovered there in 1940 and removed to Fiji for examination, but later lost. Recent archaeological excavations have uncovered improvised tools, an aluminium panel that could be from an Electra, and part of a woman's shoe.
After 13 years of research, after 5 expeditions, we know for certain now that something very odd happened on that island in a time period right around the time Earhart disappeared. We don't know for sure what that thing that happened was, but it left behind a castaway marooned on the island who died there and seems to have been a woman of Earhart's ethnic background and general stature. So somebody who looked a lot like Amelia Earhart died on that island.
But with no conclusive evidence yet emerging, it's possible this mystery may never be solved.